Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Man, if you've glanced at the news today, you know it is an absolute whirlwind out there. We're cutting through all that noise to break down 15 major events from June 3rd, 2026. Don't worry, we're going to make sense of it all together. Let's dive right in.
So here's our game plan for today. We're taking a focused news desk approach to tackle these wildly chaotic headlines. We'll be covering Middle East crises and truces, U.S. law and security threats, a major domestic transit disaster, and finally, those deadlocked California midterm elections.
All right, part one, Middle East crises and truces. We're talking serious diplomatic whiplash here.
Okay, so there was actually a major diplomatic breakthrough. The U.S. mediated a renewed, albeit fragile, ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, and they're trying out this experimental three-step plan. Step 1, get everyone to the table using U.S. mediation. Step 2, set up these unique pilot security zones inside southern Lebanon. And finally, step 3, the Lebanese National Army swoops in, takes full control, and completely bans Hezbollah operatives from anywhere south of the Litani River. Sounds like a solid plan on paper, right? But you know how these things go. That truce almost immediately violated on the ground. An Israeli military airstrike directly hit an Islamic Health Committee ambulance team over in Zibdine Debatie. It tragically killed a paramedic and severely wounded another. And to put that into perspective, that is the fourth strike on a Lebanese medical facility in literally less than 24 hours. So yeah, fragile is definitely the keyword here.
And this whole chaotic vibe, it's spilling right over into the U.S.-Iran negotiations. We're seeing a massive disconnect. On one hand, you've got the White House. President Trump is sounding super optimistic, saying a broader peace deal could, quote, happen over the weekend. But then, flip over to the Iranian Foreign Ministry, and it's a completely different story. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi basically said, nope, there is no tangible progress at all, blaming active U.S. naval operations for stalling things out completely.
To add a crazy twist to all this, President Trump confirmed that Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, is personally overseeing these secret communications. And get this, he's doing it despite nursing severe injuries from an Allied airstrike back in February. Meanwhile, Trump dropped a pretty heavy warning, saying the Strait of Hormuz, which is absolutely crucial for the global energy market, might stay economically blocked off all the way until Labor Day in September. That is a huge deal. And frankly, the physical threats in the region are just throwing a giant wrench into any peace talks. Today, Kuwait International Airport was targeted in a deliberate Iranian drone and missile blitz. Kuwait's military had to scramble instantly, and they managed to intercept a massive swarm. We're talking 13 ballistic missiles and 17 attack drones.
But even with all those interceptions, some debris, or maybe a direct strike, hit a commercial terminal. One person tragically lost their life, and a staggering 63 people were wounded. 63. It's a severe escalation in the Persian Gulf, and it puts an unbelievable amount of immediate pressure on those already stalled talks.
Moving on to part 2, U.S. law and security threats. Let's look at how all this global friction is hitting dangerously close to home.
So over in the House of Representatives, we saw a really historic display of bipartisan pushback. They narrowly passed a War Powers Resolution, 215 to 208, aimed at stopping what lawmakers are calling President Trump's unauthorized military operations against Iran. You actually had a handful of Republicans crossing the aisle to join Democrats here. Why? Well, they're pointing to a mind-boggling $100 billion burden on taxpayers. But honestly, the real driver for this? Intense anger from voters over skyrocketing gas prices. People are definitely feeling it at the pump.
Speaking of domestic fallout, get a load of this. Federal authorities just indicted a big-name California tech CEO in a wildly bizarre smuggling scheme. Apparently, international smuggling is a new real estate strategy. Step 1, this executive allegedly smuggled high-tech American computer parts straight to entities in Iran. Step 2, rake in massive black market profits. And step 3, use that illegal cash to quietly buy a sprawling personal mansion right here in California. You really can't make this stuff up.
On a completely different security front, our borders were incredibly active today. Let's talk about deactivated Mpox for a second. This is a non-infectious strain of the virus used purely for research. And as you can imagine, it is strictly, and I mean strictly regulated at the border by heavy biosafety protocols. Well, today, border agents detained 2 well-known research scientists who allegedly tried to bypass those exact rules. They were caught trying to smuggle vials of this deactivated virus from Africa straight into the U.S. And these federal arrests, they were just a drop in the bucket on a day completely overflowing with domestic emergencies. The sheer volume is staggering. First, a SWAT team finally ended a terrifying 15-hour armed hostage standoff at a California bank. Then, TSA agents at Sacramento International had to intercept live explosives hidden in a passenger's luggage. Oh, and if that wasn't enough for one day, the FAA is now urgently investigating a near-miss mid-air collision involving a JetBlue flight over Florida. Just a wildly chaotic day for security.
Okay, part 3, disasters and transit accidents. We're heading out to the Midwest for this one. Right now, massive emergency operations are underway in rural Iowa. A fast-moving freight train essentially plowed right into a commercial semi-truck that had stalled out directly on the tracks. The force of that impact was just immense. It caused a catastrophic multi-car derailment. And, tragically, this disaster claimed the lives of the train crew personnel who were on board. It's an awful, sobering reminder of the very real dangers embedded in our everyday transit and logistics networks.
Finally, let's look at part 4, deadlocked California midterm elections. We are seeing some rapidly shifting local power dynamics here.
So, we've been keeping a really close eye on yesterday's massive primary elections out in California. As of now, ballot counting has crossed the 60% mark, and the race to succeed Gavin Newsom as governor is tight. Like, absolutely deadlocked tight.
Because it's practically a photo finish right now, this primary deadlock completely sets the stage for the November midterms. And you can bet it's going to be an incredibly bitter, exceptionally high-spending political sprint to the finish line. Both sides are going to have to dig deep to break this tie.
Drilling down to the municipal level, shifting views on urban issues have totally fractured Los Angeles politics. Look at the historical norm. For the last 20 years, LA local elections have had clear, definitive majority winners. But current reality? That 2-decade trend is completely out the window. Political fracturing has prevented anyone from getting a clear majority. And because no one could secure that clear-cut win, Los Angeles has officially been pushed into its first formal mayoral runoff election in 20 full years. This is literally a historic moment for the city's political landscape. So let's pull all this together, from fragile, instantly violated truces and major economic blockades abroad, to historic legislative pushback and bitterly deadlocked elections right here at home. Today leaves us with one really crucial question to chew on. With a fractured world stage, historic domestic runoffs, and these intense political deadlocks, how will these rapidly shifting events redefine America's largest state and ultimately our global future? Think about how these massive interconnected shifts impact you. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next explainer.